get that third and the second, you're going to push up and make yourself a claim for a higher stake in the money.
$3,000 there for first place. And of course, everyone who does make it to round number 3 will see a little bit of that prize money. You got to feel pretty good about that, right, Shy? Feel to take away something for playing all day.
Yeah, I mean, there's prizes up for grabs, and this is very important for people who have already qualified. Again from yesterday, they still have something to play for. Get a few dollars into their bank accounts, and then maybe upgrade setups. It's also something to strive for if you are under the certain thresholds past top 50 if you qualify today. You maybe want to bump up to 25th, maybe 20th, and earn your rewards.
Here's a look at the overall rewards for all of the regions here, Europe and East. Now, don't forget, we're looking at Europe and East. This will be it for us today. Now, I'm sorry, sometimes I did not mean to cut you off. I'd love for you to finish your point there.
No, and I think, like, looking across all of the regions and just remembering that prizing out for qualifiers and giving these guys an incentive to play for when they do care so much about the standing and the clout that really comes from it. I know Benji Fishy cares much more about that first place than the $5,000 he won earlier today.
Yeah, it's all about making a statement, right? Because you got to think about it. When he was playing against Noah, I like to think about it like an anime, you know? You're trying to be that final boss, and you reach the top of the mountain, and there you say, I've done it. But instead, there's a secret boss that waits for you there. It's a level 99 armor and maximum damage and maximum HP. It says, no, friend. You must now face me. And it's like, that's what Benji is. Benji is the final secret boss in the game, 100%. And he's showing us that he is capable of that. But of course, there's other secret bosses lying in wait. Savage, Mongrel, right? Just to name a few. And of course, that's out in EU. So if you missed it, gentlemen, I think we should take some time to kind of recap what we did see, because today's games were so fire. Like, I love EU so much because of they know what we like to see. They like to say, all right, you want to watch a show? We got that for you.
And it's always been about just high-octane aggression, and this has probably been Benji's most complete tournament today in terms of just consistent points and placements. He was able to particularly pick it up in the back half. But one thing to note, too, is he opened up, and what we're seeing here is his semifinal run. The way he made it into the finals was winning back-to-back 8 England games. We talked about how huge that was of a number. He did it twice in a row, pushed himself up to 4th place in that second round, and to make the qualification to give himself the final spot. And you can see just how dynamic of a player he is, how aggressive he is, able to use the crash pads, get up towards the top. It doesn't matter what stage of the game it is. He's confident in his ability. And one thing in particular that I don't think we've commented enough about is I think this format and the timing of it in particular benefits Benji a lot, because he gets so many games in ahead of time. He's able to get that rhythm. In the previous FNCSs, what we had seen is really solid performances out of him in the Open, which you expect, then a really good semifinal performance, and then he has a break until he has to play on the Sunday, and he's not able to really continue that momentum. With that out of the way, I think Benji's going to end up being potentially one of the most dangerous players in EU during this FNCS.
Definitely his weights are kind of off, the training arc is complete, and now we're on to the tournament arc where hopefully he wins everything and it's a nice season finale. In those finals, still though, box to box.
What does that mean?
And finally gets to perform over. Every shot we saw hitting was hitting for max damage. Every single beam was barely even missed overall. Benji was in every box, and was almost in every endgame too. What a sight over at Europe. That being said, is any piece that we're going to be watching next was a Titan on our side of the pond too that was kind of similar into the aggression side of Benji in terms of taking cones, taking walls, having a lot of builds placed where they needed to be. P-God was playing so well, and overall it was so good to see exactly how he drops stuff down.
Brew with us what's up in Italian.
Now, we have to reiterate this a lot. This competition
it's
making it up this mountain that we were talking about. It's not easy. It's
not
a big part. Someone like
I'm Italian. I don't know shit. No, I'm sorry.
For the games today.
And I mean, it's tough. It just goes to show the amount of turnover. While it was able to put up a really solid performance, and for some players who might not be familiar with P-God, he was someone who was able to come out and qualify for the World Cup solos. Really doesn't necessarily put up a ton of tournament performances, but is relatively consistent with the capability of turning up that big day when
Hey
everything
ha
goes
ha
right,
ha
and
ha
he does
sorry.
all of the little things.
SI.
As you were talking about kind of the cone hiding placement, Shia, and once you see players starting to kind of get into that groove in solos, and they're continually diving in and
Let's go
looking
to
for
the
these
flip
nice
side.
little Dorito edits and popping up and trying to put pressure on their opponents, I think you can generally tell who's in the groove. And Piga with a huge shot right there shows why he did well yesterday. However, I don't want to say I'm not surprised that he wasn't able to qualify through, because particularly after a first place performance, I would have laid back a little bit.
It's not just that, it's just his playstyle. You saw it in mid-game. It might not be there in endgame, though. He's, like, very clash-centric. Like, every fight he takes, he always ends up taking a little bit of damage off from it.
Snip from me one more time.
Endgame, you have that momentum overall. You start playing in a lot more smarter positions. You don't really take that much damage for every single shot. But open defending is about getting past that mid-game, past that random early game spawn fight you might have. Sometimes you fall privy to just taking a little bit too much
No,
damage.
that's not bitch.
A little bit too far.
Yeah,
How do you make the Siri voice in your stream when you play on PS4?
How do you make a Siri voice in your stream when you're playing? I don't fucking know.
Shout out to Prodigy Analytics. 22 players who qualified yesterday are back.
Storm, come over here.
So we're seeing a pretty big shakeup, and people coming into today. Acorn, Niddle, Booga, Reverse, Aspect, Assault, just to name a handful of these players.
Soren, get your ass over here, bro.
It's going to be
I
a intense day.
don't
My
know.
biggest question is, we know kind of classically NAE tends to start slow and then pick up and ramp
Blue,
up.
it must be some setting.
What we watched from Benji today, the same thing
'Cause
happened
it is.
on Europe yesterday. He started slow, game 2, started to pick a little bit.
Or is it just 'cause I'm a gamer, girl?
Put on the gas. Do you think some of these guys in NAE are say, look,
Bro, you suck, bro. Like, bro, all you did is go my box and fucking. Holy.
5 months ago? What do you guys think?
Well, I don't think Benji necessarily started
Well
slow
said.
in either of the
I really don't.
two better opening tournament performances.
Bro, it's too many watching my servers. Holy.
Securing placements, I think, is the biggest thing for him. It's about getting in the flow of the game and not getting knocked out early, which I think is going to be the story for NA East as well. If you're able to get in, secure your drop spot, either win an initial fight in the first couple, maybe
R.I.P.
force that player away, or at least force that player to acquiesce a little bit more space, and you get a little bit more room and a little bit more loot off of your drop spot, then you can all of a sudden climb yourself up the leaderboard. And as we've seen, as long as you're kind of in that top 5, top 10 after the first 3 games, you're plenty able to, over the course of 3 games,
I'm going on legal, bro.
Yeah, like starting off too fast, I feel like is a trap, and a lot of people.
Shit, you only got one player online.
Friend, what are you talking about, my guy? Yeah, I only got